Hey guys, Robert Bullion back here with you. Just want to make a quick video. It's late. I fell asleep for a couple hours and woke up at midnight. And now it's 3:30 in the morning and I'm wide awake. So figured what better to do than to make a little silver video. Been getting some emails and getting a lot of friends asking me and where to start and how much do they need. Actually had my girlfriend ask me, how much more do you actually need? So to answer that question, I guess it takes some, a lot of things to take into consideration. Your budget, where you live, the availability. If you're new to it, obviously now premiums are insanely high on a lot of things, especially Eagles and just generally all around. My personal opinion on that is I like to have a good solid foundation of 100-ounce bars. They usually come with the lowest premium. All these bars have been had for a long time, so the premiums now on them, I really couldn't tell you. I pretty much pay the same premium for any of this stuff, whether it's older stuff like this that usually would normally come with a little bit higher premium, or even these angle hards. I paid the same for these angle hards as I pay for the Buffalo round, so it's a little bit different. But that's my opinion. I got a decent amount of 100-ounce ones as kind of like my foundation, to just have a decent amount of ounces put back. That way, if I ever do need to sell some stuff, you get all these 10-ounce bars that are easily, turned to cash pretty quick, pretty much anywhere. These tend to, not so much angle hards, sometimes angle hards, but depending on where you live, it would be very hard for me to liquidate all the 100-ounce bars that I had at one time if I wanted to locally real quickly. Actually, it'd probably be impossible. I'm actually who they usually call when they want to get rid of them, because nobody else really wants to buy them. But I think that if you can't afford them, get them. I think that they're a good, solid foundation, and then build out or build down from there. If the lowest premiums, if possible, get these. Some of these do. Obviously, with the angle hards, you got P series, S series, W series, and it goes on. That's a little bit different. That said, I do really, really like the RCM bars. The 4.9's fine. I really, really do like these bars. They're one of my favorite ones to stack just because they do fit so nice. I don't have any of the 1,000-ounce Scottsdale stackers. These are Academies. They're made by Scottsdale, but same design, the interlocking. I do like those. I like these. I don't personally have any of the Scottsdale 1,000-ounce ones. They just have never come through the place that I buy the majority, all mine, or the local people that call me and sell me their stuff when they want to. So I don't have any of those, so I can't speak to stacking those. But if they're anything like the Academy bars or any of the other Scottsdale stackers, they're a great one too. I personally like the Royal Canadian Mint ones and the angle hard ones. They stack really easy. They take up very little room for what they are, in comparison to size and just volume that it takes up, if that gets to be a problem. That said, this is over 7 pounds, so it's not easy to, bug out with it or whatever, so there's a lot of factors that taking into account of as far as how much you feel you need, or whatever, depending on what your goal is and what you're doing. Obviously, depending on your budget and what you can afford, there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting an ounce a week, an ounce every 2 weeks, an ounce a month, whatever you can possibly afford. It's peace of mind. It really, really is. But that was kind of when I first started doing this about a little over 10 years ago. I was getting sheets of 10-ounce bars like in my last video with the Year of the Monkey, the ones that I got locally, I was getting those, the years that they were made, and I looked back and found some receipts that I was paying, I think $12, something like that, all in after taxes, or, not taxes, but after spot, because I always spend, over $1,500, you don't pay taxes. So that was what I first started out with, just because I was kind of new to it. I liked the look of them. I liked the ease of it. It was kind of a family friend-ish, if you could say. I was a jewelry dealer who just had really, really good connections with bullion dealers, and he kind of just did bullion on the side. It was not his main gig, and that's what I originally started stacking first off. I've been into coins since I was a kid. My dad was big into it. I've always been into them. I'm not very versed in all the different nuances and different types and this and that, so I can't get too much involved with buying those, because I could easily get hosed or easily host somebody, just because I don't know enough about it. I know enough to know what I know, and I know enough to know what I don't know, and so I stay within those bounds, and that's about it. That said, I am glad that I bought a lot of junk silver back in the day when it was basically free. I mean, you were paying, spot was 14, 15 bucks an ounce, something like that, and you were paying, I think I was paying 40 cents over spot for junk, when I was paying $1.50 or $2 over spot for, these bars, or even those monkey bars. Those 9 sheets of 10 uncut from the mint. That's what I was paying. I'd have to go back and look at some old receipts, but it is good to keep track of that kind of stuff. I found some receipts in just some old tubes. Like when I buy tubes, a lot of times I'll just put the receipt in the top, just so that I can kind of, whatever I want to, go back and cost average. It was like looking at some of the old ones that I had and realized that, man, I paid like a little over $200 for full tubes of Buffaloes, Philharmonics, all kinds of stuff. It has definitely gone up, and the price for spot is not actually that much different right now compared to then. It's just the premiums have gone through the roof. So that's, one key factor to take into consideration. Also, the liquidity of it. These do have the lower premiums, and if you do need to sell something, you are going to have to sell the whole 100 ounces. Obviously, you're not going to cut it in half, cut it in quarters, cut it in tenths, whatever it may be. So that's where, generic rounds come in. We're also having, just a bunch of 10-ounce bars is always nice. If you just need a little bit of quick cash and you don't want to liquidate a whole 100-ounce bar, or if you're not even able to, or if you are able to and you need to do a bunch of them, they might not take 100-ounce bars, but they might take a couple 100 ounces and 10-ounce bars. So it really depends on you and your finances and what you're able to afford. For me, I don't really think that there's a limit to what I will continue to stack. That said, that does get to a point where the volume and the weight kind of becomes a deterrent, because if I ever do have to get up and leave the area, luckily I don't live in a wildfire area really, or earthquakes happen. We just had one the other day. They do happen. Haven't had anything major yet. A couple years ago we got a 7 that knocked a bunch of stuff off the wall, but it's always a consideration that if I ever had to leave and get out quickly, what would I grab? And this is not realistic. It's just no way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 70 pounds just in these bars right here, and that's just the tip. It's not realistic to try to expect or assume that I'll be able to get out with all of this. So currently I'm actually trying to downsize just some of the weight wise. I'm going to try to liquidate some of these, either go just to rounds, or even gold, just with the spot prices of the American Eagles. Might sell some of the monster boxes just to get 500, sell 500 ounces to get 600 or 600 and a quarter back, or whatever the math works out to be if I ever decide to do it. But then again, it's, extrapolating my problem of weight and the ability to get out quickly with it. But I do think that 100-ounce bars definitely serve a place if you can afford them and you can get them at a good price. It'll definitely help your dollar cost average if you've spent a lot of time stacking like small rounds and you've paid, $4 or $5, $6 over spot. I think I looked earlier today and the Philharmonics or the Britannias were going for $6.50 over spot. I don't remember if that was if you bought one or if you bought 50 or more. I can't remember. I don't really do much shopping online. I just kind of like to browse and see if there's anything that I do want. I don't really seek out any old vintage silver. A lot of the stuff that I do have could be classified as vintage just because it's bought locally and it's just not new. They've been holding on to it for a long time, or somebody in their family passes away and then they take it into the pawn shop, they take it into the stores, or they call me, and so I get it for a fairly good price when it would fetch a very higher price on the vintage market if they were to put it online. That said, you got fees and all that, so that's something you're going to have to figure out on your own to what's best for you. But thinking about that weight is a concern. It is hard to move all this silver. It becomes a problem. But at the same time, it is a very good vehicle, especially if the gold to silver ratio starts to get thinner and thinner. I'm absolutely going to be trying to get rid of some of this just to get it into gold. And that's just the plan anyway. I like to play both sides of the fence. I think gold's a good monetary hedge. I think this is a good parking spot that I'm not going to lose any money on it, but I also do think that over the next handful of years, 1, 3, 5, 8, 10, whatever it is, that this is going to absolutely go up very steadily. To see an 8% jump in one day last week, and even last week we had a little bit of a rise. I'm not sure what it's trading at right now. Like I said, it's 3:30 in the morning, so not really sure. I think it's 1940, something like that. So we're still holding strong. I think if we can get above that $20, $21, $22 range and hold it for a minute, I think that'll start becoming resistance, and it's just going to keep slowly inching up gains from there. So I definitely would never liquidate all of my silver. That defeated the whole purpose of what I started doing this 4 years ago. But that said, you do reach a point at a certain amount of ounces where it's just like, okay, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. I need to start thinning it down. And online's always a thing, and you could sell and all that, whatever. So, but that's just my opinion on it. Trying to keep this video short. You guys don't seem to like the long videos. I know I tend to ramble a lot or probably say the same thing over and over again, but Constitutional is a very good thing to grab if you can get it for a decent price. Obviously, face value now is, I've seen anywhere from going from 15 times face value all the way up to, I think, 24 times face value I saw the other day. So, the demand is high, the supply is low, and the big bullion dealers are definitely playing off of that. That said, I still think it's a good buying opportunity. Anything under $25 an ounce right now, I think is good. I think you'll easily get back to your original amount of money that you have into it, and in a short amount of time. If you have, say at least a year to wait, I think we'll probably get to there or get very, very close, if not above it. Honestly, it could happen at any moment. It could not happen for a year. We all know the difference between the physical market and the paper market and the discrepancies there. The COMEX down below 40 million ounces. That's just, so we'll see what happens with that. But that's my advice. That's my opinion. That's kind of been my strategy. Started out with 10-ounce bars just because I was new to it. It's what he had. I liked them. They worked out good. And then as I got more and more versed into it, and deciding what I wanted, and cultivating relationships with certain guys around in the area over the years, I have been able to pick up a decent amount of these hundreds, which is, I think, is a very good foundation to it. That, you know, if I ever wanted to liquidate stuff, these are going to be the first ones to go. They take up the amount of room and the weight that they take up. I would definitely like to offset that with either gold, or, I mean, it won't really change the volume or the weight. Actually, will increase it. But if I could even get rid of these, or not these, but like the Eagles, and then get, you know, say a 10 or 15% and just ounces upgrade, I would absolutely do it, you know, absolutely. So that's, you know, that's a decision I have to make. I've just kind of been running the numbers and seeing what I want to do. But that's my take on it. That's my opinion on it. Right now, I'm going for just a generic, cheapest premium that there is. If I can get constitutional at a good price, I will take it. But anything silver, shot, I take it. Sterling, I'll take it. You know, it can easily be taken out and then melted back down, and, you know, whatever. So just my quick opinion on it. I try to stay away from the high premium vintage stuff, just because the premiums are killer. They're hard to recover. And then when you go to liquidate it and sell it, your buyers are a very, very thinner group of people than what it would be for, say, just any of this other stuff on here, if you're just going for a spot plus, you know, whatever the normal percentage is on a lot of things. So and with all the different marketplaces, you know, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know, whatever, all the other ones, definitely has brought it down a little bit compared to, like, say, eBay, where they have to, you know, factor in those 10, 12, I think it's 12.9% fees that they pay on it. So if you're going to do it, you know, I would suggest finding some reputable dealers on sites like that don't require all these fees and everything else. But that's my current goal right now, is just going for the smaller stuff, lower premium if possible, and just trying to trade in some of the bigger stuff for a denser metal, gold probably, and even with the Eagles, like I said, if I can sell them and get, you know, 10 or 15% and just silver ounces returned over what I gave out, it's absolutely worth it for me. I have no, you know, I'm not tied to the Eagles by any means. They were gotten cheap. They were gotten at a good price. The only reason that I got them. So, like I said, I only buy 2 a year anyway, normally, especially now with the premiums being what they are. So, just a little tidbit of advice. That's how I did it. That seems to have worked out good for me. You know, do what you can, do what your pocketbook allows, but, you know, if you can, I mean, get an ounce a week, get an ounce every 2 weeks, get an ounce a month. Before you know it, you'll look back and you'll have 100 ounces, you'll have 1,000 ounces, you'll have 2,000 ounces. What is the max you should have? That's up to you. I can't tell you on that one. But I would, once you get to a certain point, the weight does become a factor, the volume becomes a factor, so you do start to look to transfer it into either gold or, you know, some other form of denser metal that has more value in a smaller package. Platinum, palladium, all that kind of good stuff. But, you know, like I said, silver's a very good place to park your money and get back exactly what you put into it, as long as you do your dollar cost average. I have bars that I paid, you know, upwards of $3,000 for 100-ounce bars when stuff was going up, when it was at 26, 27. And I also have 100-ounce bars that I paid $18 an ounce for. So, you know, my dollar cost average is pretty low. I keep pretty good track of that, just to know where I'm at, know when to spend, when to buy, when not to. So just keep that in mind. That's a really big factor I think a lot of people overlook, and don't get sucked into the hype coins, the painted eagles and all that stuff. Like, paying $100 for an eagle because it's got paint on it, you're never going to get that back unless you go online with selling it, and they're probably not going to appreciate in value at all. If you can find vintage stuff, that there's always a collector's market for that, just like anything else. But the premiums on that usually are insanely high. I mean, I saw some stuff today that was going for 50, 60, 75, and even $80 an ounce for 10-ounce bars for vintage stuff. So if you got to scratch that itch, I see it, I understand it, I like it too. I just don't aim for it. The goal is most amount of money for the least amount of premium, most amount of silver for the least amount of premium, period. That's my stacking, advice. That's my business model when it comes to this. Is bullion, period. That's it. I don't care what it says on it. As long as it's 999 fine or better, I'm good with it. Sure, the vintage stuff is cool. I like it. I hold on to it. I will take it, but I don't go out of my way to seek it out, because I don't think that it's going to give the return that the same amount of money, if I could buy a 10-ounce bar that's vintage and pay crazy high premiums when I could have bought 2 10-ounce bars for the same price, I'm going to go for the 2 10-ounce bars. It just seems common sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But that's just my opinion on it. So but right now I'm just going for rounds, going for small stuff. Like I said, lowest premiums, rounds really aren't where the lowest premiums are at. Probably your best bet is 10-ounce bars or kilos or 100 ounces if you can afford them. But then you have to also think about if you ever need to liquidate them, or even if you just need to liquidate a little bit. So I think it's good to have a well-rounded stack of things that if you needed a little bit of money, you could go off a couple 10-ounce bars real quick and not have to do one of these. Or if you don't even need this much, you just need a little bit, you got some rounds, So I think it's good to have a good diversified stack as far as the actual amount of ounces to where call it quits. For me, sky's the limit to a certain extent. For the most part, I could probably stop now and be fine. But I am going to try to start transferring a lot of this into gold and to other actual hard assets, tangible assets, which is the reason that I did this. So we'll see how that goes in the coming months and how it all works out. And just with all the tensions and everything going on everywhere and the demand insanely high for this, I would still get this while you can. I know the premiums are high on a lot of stuff, but I would just pay attention to it, and I would get what you can. It's definitely going to go up slowly and steadily, I believe. The demand is just so high and the supply is so low, and I think a lot of that is coming to light. Same with gold. You're seeing a lot more people investing in gold, just as it's a normal route to the safe haven for protecting every asset. So I see it, I understand it, and it packs a lot more value in a lot smaller, package. So what is on this table right here, dollar-wise, I could fit in 2 pockets and be able to run. So, that's also a key factor. All right, well, I'm going to cut this video short. It's already went a little bit long, a little bit of rambling. Sorry about that, guys. I appreciate you if you followed it all the way through. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a 10-ounce bar giveaway. We'll do it at 250 subscribers. Drop me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up and a like. It really helps with the algorithm. Gets this out there. Get a little bit more attention to it. And I appreciate all you guys watching. Drop me a comment below. Feel free to send me an email like you guys have been doing. Always down to help with some advice. And if there's anything on here you see, reach out. Let me know. I'm always down to sell some stuff. So always down to help with some new stackers too. So drop me a comment or drop me an email. You guys have a good night.